Hey, Novi, Mr. Dean here, just kind of talking about this activity we're going to have you do for today's College and Career Readiness Day. First part of it is about those 10 things that require zero talent. We basically want you to gauge them and take a look at what you're doing well at, what are things that you need to improve upon, because it's the beginning of a new year. And so it's a good time for you to look at your goals and kind of a way to evaluate yourself and say, hey, what do I need to improve on? What am I doing well? Pat yourself on the back on some things and kick yourself in the butt on others. So, for example, we have all of the 10 things that require zero talent on this worksheet right here. So, you're just going to circle where you think you're at. How are you when it comes to being on time, or attitude, or the ability to be coached and whatnot, body language, the doing extra. And then what you're going to do is you're going to come down to the bottom and you're going to write down what are your 3 areas of strength. And if they're your strengths, keep doing those things. If they're an area of strength, why change that up if you're strong in those areas? But then also take a look at the other box right there where you talk about areas of weakness. If you have an area of weakness or a place where you need to address, what are those? Be specific, because you can only fix things if you're honest about it and specific about those things. So go ahead and put those in that box. On the back of your sheet, we also want you to take a look at your grades. And so we created a matrix right here. So you see your periods right in the middle from 0 all the way to 6 period. And what we want you to do is we want you to look at your classes from last semester, and we want you to evaluate where were the areas of strengths in those classes and what are areas that you need to improve. Because the fact of the matter is, you always, whether you're in an athlete or in a class or something like that, you always want to look at, hey, where am I doing well in? And continue those habits. And then if you're falling short, what do you got to do differently? So we want you to kind of put that matrix together here. And then those of you that complete this worksheet, you can take those to Dr. Hernandez's office by Friday, the 19th, and she will get you a chance to win a snack pack for both you and your teacher for doing this in class. Now, one helpful tip, myself being a teacher, whenever students come up to me and they ask, hey, what can I do to get my grades up? Well, let me give you some tips, because that's what we're going to take a look at here. So looking at your Aeries grades. First off, Blackboard, which is one of the main grading programs for colleges, did a survey of 3 million college students, and they found out college students that check their grades more often are more likely to get better grades. Why? Because they're paying attention. The same thing is true here when you're looking at Norte Vista High School. If you're checking your grades and you're looking at your Aeries all the time, you're going to be aware of what's going on, and you're going to be able to make adjustments and fix things as they happen. If you're sleepwalking and not paying attention, you're not going to be able to make those adjustments. So one thing I would suggest, because it's one thing if you look at your grades and you go, oh man, I'm at an 88%, or oh man, I'm at a 78%. Well, those are great numbers to know, but why are you at that 78%? Why are you at that 88%? And what do you got to do differently to be able to get yourself to the next level? One of the things as a teacher I always tell students when they come and talk to me about this is go to Aeries and look at the categories. Many of your teachers are using the gradebook and using the categories section to be able to weigh their grades. So for instance, I'm going to put this slide up here, but some of the categories in this grade book, you have classwork and homework worth 25% of your grade, tests and quizzes worth 35%, a DBQ essay worth 20% of your grades, and performance items or participation or presentation, that's worth another 20%. When you click on that on your personal grade book, it'll show you where you're doing good here, and then your final grade is here at the bottom. So check this out. If this student walked up to me in a class and they said, Dean, what do I got to do to be able to get my grade up? I'm at a 68. I need to get a C. What do I need to do? Well, if I'm taking a look at this, I know I'm not going to tell them to do anything with performance items or participation, because they're getting 100% in that section. They're getting an A+. I'm also looking at tests and quizzes. This kid is doing a pretty good job at an 87% with their tests and quizzes. Now, the areas where they're falling short, take a look at that. Homework and classwork, they've only turned in half the assignments, 52%. That's an area where you got to step it up. If I take a look here at DBQ essays, they're at 22%. If you're looking for the area where you're going to get the most bang for your buck, start working on the DBQ essays and talk to your teachers about turning stuff in there. So that's what I would suggest for this student. I'll bring up another student. If I'm looking at this kid right there, student number 2, I'm taking a look at this, and classwork and homework, man, he's doing great. 88% of the classwork and homework is getting turned in. Looking at the essays, he's getting a B on those essays. He's getting an A on those performance items. So where's the weak point? If he's at an 82% and he wants to get an A, look at those tests and quizzes. His average test score is 69%. So if this student wants to get himself to the next level, he needs to take a look at his test prep. He needs to talk to his teacher and be like, okay, how do I prep for tests? Here's what I've been doing now, and maybe that system's not working, and we need to reassess that situation. Last student we will take a look at right here, student number 3. If I'm taking a look at this student, they're at an 88%, and they're trying to get that extra 2% to get themselves to an A. Well, they're great at the classwork and homework. They got a little extra credit there. That's cool. Performance items are good. DBQ, 86, that's pretty good. That's another one right there. Our tests are the lowest mark right there. And so if I'm looking to improve my grade, the biggest bang for the buck is going to be the test grades. So all this to show, you can know the number, you can know you got yourself an 88%, but if you take a look at these category grades that many of our teachers use, that's going to tell you where specifically you need to improve and how to be able to get your grades to the next level. Hopefully this is helpful. Take a look at those grades, fill out that sheet so that you can do that self-evaluation, figure out where you're doing things well, figure out where you need to improve next, and hopefully this next semester, it's going to take things to the next level as you end out this school year. Good job, Braves.